You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
Yeah, that's right. I'm back. You can't stop me. It is the big show. Yeah. Listen to it.
Some say that karma is a bitch.
Oh yeah. Listen to this.
Some say that karma is a bitch.
And you know this, man. It's the big show. Truth on Tap. This is my friend that stayed in a haunted hotel. Bitch's head burst into flames. They put her out. I don't know. I try to make up something new every show about her. It's the big show, Truth on Tap. Your host is Kevin Kirsten. Tonight, we are going to go ahead and talk about advice to humanity. Advice to humanity. How about that? Got a friend that's going to call in. She's going to give her angle. Now, I'll be coming at you from the 41-year-old male perspective. And those who know me, know my history, kind of know where I'm coming from. Those who don't, well, I'm an average American male. Military background, a little bit, just 4 years. And computer guy, author, now radio show host, trying to do some stuff, you know. I'm just an average American when you look at it that way. Above average intelligence, if we're speaking truthfully, might as well be honest. I think we all think we have above average intelligence, but mine shows up on the test, so I guess that's worth something. But maybe I'm just dumb. I mean, doesn't it come down to who makes the test? Go ahead and make the test. I'll see if I pass yours. So that's all. I'm just a regular guy, but maybe I connect with people well. And if I connect with people well, maybe on my show I'm representing the broader angle of humanity. A lot of times I'm going after what's not being said. That's a big one to me, but it also has to be truthful. That's an even bigger one to me. There are a lot of things boiling under the surface of the average human mind. Oh yeah, so many things. So they got to be talked about. Most people are too afraid to talk about them, or they'll sugarcoat them, or they'll be afraid that the thought police will come like this. You couldn't hear it because my sound effects aren't working. Oh well. I forgot they can't be waves. Trying to be clever there. I titled tonight's show Basic Advice to Humanity. Mainly because it's 2:30 in the morning and I've run out of ideas. Kevin Kirsten, the most creative guy in the world by my rating, is out of ideas. It's not that I couldn't have thought of an idea. I mean, for God's sakes, we could have done lesbians with bald heads. You know, talk about a niche market. No, didn't want to do that. Wanted to do something that appealed to a broader audience. So I began thinking, and maybe we should do this routinely, get people involved in giving their best advice to humanity. You know, you don't see a lot of books or shows about that. It's always this specialist, that psychiatrist, this leader, that actor, telling you how to live. How about just a nice general slew of opinions from the average American public? I tend to focus my show on America, so even when I say humanity and things of that nature, I tend to mean within the borders of America. I will get on international topics fairly often where I'll talk about all of humanity. But with general social issues, you're generally going to be hearing about Americans from me because it changes so drastically when you cross borders. Michaela should be calling in here soon. Miss Michaela Wotak. She's a model. She's a friend that goes ghost hunting with us routinely. And she's good at it. For a young girl, you know, she's got a lot of class and a lot of patience. Something you don't often find with people from her age group, male or female. And that's a good thing. I'll pull up, like I like to do when I do a radio show, some websites. Later on, we'll probably play some songs from Bad Ace. That's something I try to do every show. I'm trying to get some more music from them now. General advice is what I'm going to Google just to see what comes up. And the Google Giggles Gaggle Goggle, I like the Google, to be honest with you. I think it's pretty cool. You know, I think it's good at what it does. But anything man-made can be influenced by other men and therefore lose some of its honor and respectability because it's going for the dollar. So don't trust any one service too much. Don't trust any one voice too much that can be influenced by other people. Generaladvice.org. My gosh, I'll pull it up. That was I almost never go for the first result when I'm looking for random topics. I had no idea there was a site called generaladvice.org. Let me click on one here. I'll go to immigration and see if there's advice on that. I mean, they gave me a category. Immigration? What the hell? They give me an order form? No. No, 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 no. See, this is how a website ends up getting disqualified from those I'll give a look to. See, I'm already done with this website. Sorry, you lost. I give a website about 5 seconds, and then I'm done. Yep, not going back to that one. Sorry. Got to make it work. The world moves fast these days. We got a lot to process. Don't hold me up. My friend Shane says, Kevin, you have a trouble with forgiving people. Yeah, he told me that. Told me that a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, 3.5. I didn't know. Nobody had ever told me that. He was right. When I started analyzing myself, I have an ability to do that objectively sometimes. He was right. He was right. All right, well, I'll use a different search then, general advice. How about general advice for living? Yeah, there you go. No, screw healthy living, just living. 10 ways to boost your health. I don't need it. Where to live? You can that. Living in Japan, not what I'm looking for. Gosh, Google. You're hurting me here. You're getting too specific. Getting way too specific. Boost your health. I'll keep looking as we talk. It's not something I do well because I am a man. Well, here, Dr. Phil, I'll go ahead and pull it up just because he's got advice. Let me tell you how I feel about Dr. Phil. I ran here about the living advice. Dr. Phil, along with people like Bill O'Reilly and Glenn Beck and Dr. Michael Shermer, are dicks. They are. The way they deal with other people, they're assholes. I don't like them for it. I don't like a bully. Dr. Phil is definitely a bully. Now, does that mean that what they say is legitimate? Not at all. Not at all. A lot of them have some very good ideas, politically, medically. But when you take this tough guy approach, like Dr. Phil does, man up. Dr. Phil, you're supposed to be a psychiatrist. Let me assure you, as a former student of psychiatry, that mental conditions are real. Go up to a schizophrenic and say man up. Bullshit. You don't know your field if you say man up to somebody who's having a major depressive episode. Look it up. DSM-5 is out. Look that shit up, people. It's legit. Dr. Phil would say, I don't tell those people to man up. Well, you do it a little too often and you're pushy with it, and I've seen you almost explode on your show because somebody got under your skin. I, sir, would get under your skin, I guarantee it, because I don't like a bully. So give good psychological advice, give good living advice, but don't boss me around on your show because I don't like to get bossed. My alpha male shows up when another alpha male shows up, and that's the only time it shows up. With everybody else, I come directly down or up to their level and meet them there. But when an alpha male shows up, I got to jump right up there with him and show him I will not be ruled. I will not be bullied. Yeah, there's nothing that comes out faster in me than the alpha male when another alpha male is pushing. My God, does it come out. I can't control it. I'll be honest. That's one of the things I don't have control over. So don't bully me. Don't bully anyone around me. Just be cool. That goes for you too, Dr. Phil, as if you're listening to this. Oh, hell no. He might one day. You don't know. You don't know for sure. Michaela, if you're listening to the show, you better dial in. The show is waiting for you. Oh, yeah. I hope it hasn't taken the same title, because that would suck. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. I changed the title. Let's hope that it's broadcasting right now. How would I know? I can go to Truth on Tap, see if it's put there. live now at 2:33. Yeah, says it's live. Says it's live. But it's using the old show description, so that kind of sucks. Oh well. I tried. Whatever. We can go on. The show will go on. We've been on for about 10 minutes now. I have to routinely check in here to my SAM broadcasting software to make sure that we're still broadcasting. I don't like talking. The reason that I'm doing this show right now is because I wanted to give Miss Michaela a chance to get on the air because she offers a good counterbalance to some of the things I say. And I'm not saying that we don't agree on things. It's just that she's given, it's like, what's that show with the four women? You know what I'm talking about. My mom loves that show. It has four women that talk in the morning, and they're all kind of different ages, and they have different perspectives. There's a young one, and then there's Whoopi Goldberg, and then there's a couple older ones, and then there's Sherry, I think. So you get a couple black girls, older white woman, Barbara Walters, the young one, Melissa something, Hasselbeck maybe? I don't even know if her first name's Melissa. Yeah, I don't remember. And then you had that Joyce woman who went on to do her own show, I think, and she was super opinionated. But it gives a lot of perspectives. Well, I believe any show is going to give a wide variety of perspectives if it's going to be a good show. You don't get like-minded people in there all the time. You at least get people who are of a different generation because you got to give that mixed angle, Not only would the older crowd in that situation want to hear what the older crowd is thinking, but they need to hear what the younger crowd is thinking. Helps them make the connection, bridge that gap, So that's why I like it when younger people call in or people that are older than I. So hopefully she'll be calling in. I got her here asking me how long it's going to be on Facebook. This is the second time I've done a show tonight. She said she was calling in, so hopefully she will. Let me go ahead and send her a message. Say we're on, by the way. Okay, there's the message being sent. Like I said, occasionally you're going to hear me go silent, but that should only be for about 5 seconds. I hear other radio hosts go for sometimes 30 seconds and not say anything. It's like, think about this for a second, okay? The way radio is going right now, yes, it's coming over the internet. That helps people like me get on. I love that. I love that. I love that my friends can get on, and I'll have competition. That's going to force people to be better, and good shows will come out of that. Good shows that could not show up before over traditional broadcasting routes. I love that. So what I was going to say is those other broadcasters don't take it very seriously. So because they leave it on for 15 and 30 seconds while they do whatever they have to do, well, that's not professional to me. If you did that for a major radio organization that was commercial, you'd be fired. So you're never going to hear me leave you for 30 seconds unless it's an accident, like I'm trying to play a sound file that doesn't come through the correct virtual cables. So here I am thinking you're listening to something and you're not. That'll happen, but I'm never going to say, well, this is my show. Oh, I think I'll look at chat. Silence. 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 No. No, 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 no. Now that may become acceptable as radio continues to evolve. I don't know. But to me, when I turn on a talk show, don't give me silence. For all I know, my radio broke. You talk on a talk show. You keep it going. If you can throw music in there, but keep the noise coming out of the speakers. And that's just natural. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, you'll hear me clicking pretty often. There should be inside Sam Broadcaster, which is a rather expensive radio broadcasting package. I think you should be able to tune out by a filter, by a software filter, the sound of a click. Because everybody be clicking. Now, is anybody out there aware of new technology that doesn't require the sound of a click on a mouse? I would think a little laser feed could do it with just a tap. I'm sure we're there. I just haven't gone shopping lately for computer stuff. I mean, my computer equipment right now is 5 years old plus. And I work on computers. I got people dropping them off. If I can't fix them or tell them the motherboard's shot, a lot of times they'll leave them with me. You know, I'm not trying to fool people. I don't turn them around and sell them for a bunch of money. A lot of times I don't even sell them. They're just still sitting here. In fact, I kind of believe that people should have about a year to change their mind and come back and get their system. So that's kind of the way I look at it as a repair guy. I'm the only guy around here that does computer repair and doesn't charge an arm and a leg. I charge $35 flat fee for just the repair, $50 for full service, plus parts. And a lot of times you don't need parts if you have a very competent computer repair technician. You go to some places in the next town over, you know, they're charging $40 to diagnose you. Then the price starts climbing. You know, you're in and out my door for $50. So that's with full service. That's giving you identity protection, antivirus, anti-malware, anti-spyware, anti-bad shit, all taken care of. So, you know, I got the going deal around here. But I don't push advertising enough. You know, I got a bad back. A lot of times I'm very crabby. And I know some people might sit there and think, well, if you can do a talk radio show, then you can go work at a call center. Now, let me assure you that I'm wiggling around in pain sometimes. I routinely have to take breaks on this show to go put ice on my back, to go put my back brace on, to go stretch in very awkward positions. This is not something you can do at a call center, okay? I'm pretty much screwed right now. That's the way it is. But I still try to do bouts of work when I can. I think it's in my nature. I worked, you know, the 9 to 5 from the age of 15 on up to 40 or on up to 38 years old before I finally started losing so much sleep over my back problem that I was falling asleep at the wheel. Got in a 4-car pileup being asleep at the wheel and didn't quit my job that day, but knew in my heart that was it. Unless the back was fixed, and that was it. I was looking to kill people. That was no good. That's too much. That's the line. That's crossing the line right there. I had fallen asleep at the wheel once before, about 3 months earlier, and just bumped the guy. No big deal. But the second one, 4-car pileup, windshield smashing, fenders flying. No more. I had a friend get killed way back when from the same town I'm in, falling asleep at the wheel, or they believe he was asleep at the wheel, working 2 jobs. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'd rather live on the street as a bum if I have to. So I'm not going to kill somebody. I'm just not. So anyway, till the back is fixed. Oh, Michaela, come on. Look up the number. You're making me do all the work here while I'm hosting a show? I'm making you look it up. I'm not going to give you the number. Damn it. So my back keeps me out of work right now, but as I said, I do try to work anyway. I do these little 15 and 20 minute bouts. I try to come on and broadcast without sounding like someone who's in a lot of pain. I do a lot of acting when I'm in public to act like I'm okay and normal when I'm screaming inside. You know, it's a lot of pain, and I'm not going to go very deep into that. You know what it's like for people that have back problems. I've had 2 surgeries on my back, 2 on my right knee. They want to do a 3rd surgery on my back, putting in steel rods and cutting off a chunk of my tailbone to anchor it in, a very complex surgery. I'm not sure if I'm for it. You know, I've been diagnosed with severe arthritis in the lumbar spine, moderate in the right knee, and I'm fucked up, y'all. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why. 4 years of football might have done it to me. I was too skinny to play, but had all the heart. That'll do it. 4 years in the Air Force wasn't too hard, too much stress, except basic training, because I didn't just do the basic training. I went out for the tug team and everything else. I'm kind of an overachiever in that sense. So we would go run 5 and 10 miles a night, carrying a tug rope the whole time. Little things like that. Playing rugby when I got out of the military for fun with a league in Newport News, Virginia. Things like that. Yeah, I blew myself up. Skydiving. Probably didn't take much out of me. But, you know, I don't know. You know, those things will beat you up over time. I'm 41. I'm not an old man. I had somebody tell me when I got in touch with an attorney's outfit, I was thinking about, I have a lot of pride. Well, let me rephrase that. That's not true. I've swallowed my pride for the most part, but when you hear people talk about people who are living on disability income, you hear a lot of anger and animosity there. So I don't have a condition where I'm in a wheelchair, and I don't have a condition where I'm living off of a feeding tube. So people might get curious and say, well, if you can go to the post office, you can work. So I've been very, very standoffish about collecting any kind of disability benefits. But, I think it's time. And I had someone from an attorney's office that I was thinking about having me represent to Social Security for SSD, Social Security Disability. I said, I'm thinking about having somebody represent me for the VA and SSD. I'm pretty much broken right now, and I'm not sure if I'm going to let them do more surgery. If the first two made me worse, why should I believe the third's going to help? So, it's a reasonable question. And they said, you're too young. Their SSD is going to reject you. Too young? That's not right. That's age discrimination, isn't it? I'm screwed up. That's all there is to it. I got the doctors. I don't even need the doctors to say it. I got the x-rays that prove it. The MRIs don't lie, folks. And that's one good thing about my condition. Now, I carry around a copy of my x-ray reports with me in case anybody has a question. I hate the thought of someone thinking I'm lying. Oh, I hate that thought. That's probably the motivation for my whole damn show. Truth. I like the truth. I like the truth because I like to at least know what reality is, even if I choose to live far outside of it and go live in my little rose-colored world. But, yeah, I'm messed up. I'm messed up, folks. I am. But I can do a radio show, gosh damn it, and maybe, just maybe, I can give back to my community this way. Hell, it may become an enterprise. I might start making money off of it. So much money that I can start giving to charities and stuff after I pay the bills, after I take care of the kids and take care of the bills, Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it'll take off. If I make a strong enough connection with you, my audience, we're in. I'm in. It's gonna start mattering. It's gonna get bigger. I'm gonna be able to start selling ads. For some of you that are local that are saying, hey, let's support the local guy, great. I'll represent your desires. I'll bring things into the news that you think need attention that have not been brought into the news. It's not a problem. If a business treats you wrong, we'll get all over them on this show. But don't come lying. Don't come lying. That's not cool. And every business should get a second chance. Every business should get a second chance, just as every person should get a second chance. So I will not slam a business for doing you wrong. I may help you slam them if it's their second or third or fifth time, but never the first time. So that's how that works. Should be getting a call here in just a second from Michaela. For some reason, I don't get this. It's another question of technology. The Google Voice first call of the show never comes through. Why? I don't frickin' know. Doesn't make sense to me. But the second one and every one thereafter comes through. So Kevin has to do his homework to finish sewing up the technical ends of this radio program. However, I'm very proud to say that I've gotten quite far. And I started asking myself, how come more radio hosts are not giving out instructions on how to properly set up a radio show? Think about that for a second with me. Think about it. Why would radio hosts who have their own internet show not want to help other radio hosts? Pretty simple answer, wouldn't you say? Competition. Why would I want to help you get on when your show might take my listeners? I gotta tell you, I'm a giver. I'm a person who loves to help people. Swear to God, that's true. But I understand that argument. Why would I want to help my competition? I'll help them anyway. It's just the way I am. Hopefully my show will resonate a little bit better, enough to keep enough listeners to do what I want to do. But that's the way it goes. What are you gonna do? So Michaela should be calling in here. Google Voice doesn't work on the first call. Never does. Never does. Hopefully it'll work on the second or third try. I don't know. Michaela, if you're listening, I've got it open right now. And I will be looking out for your call. Maybe it's because I have 20 odd tabs open. I'll start closing those. Why not? Okay. Close it, 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 close it. Don't want to stress your system. 5 years old is ancient in computer terms. You know. General advice to humanity. The problem I have with general advice, I'll give it to you. I'll tell you things I think work. But I won't tell you they're going to work for you. You know, I think people that tell other people how to live ought to kiss my ass. You don't know what it's like to be them. You don't know all of their history and their thought processes. I don't care if they're family. You don't know. So don't tell them how to live, because unless they come to you asking for advice, I think it's rather pompous for you to go to them with advice. I will, however, share views on how I think you may be able to find tricks and tips in life to make it easier, to make it more fulfilling. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, and I'll use that disclaimer before every show. You know, my advice is not going to work for everybody. It may not work for most people. It may just be for a select few. But I feel like sharing. I feel like sharing this tip. Maybe it's got something, you know. So I guess I'll start with manners. If somebody holds the door for you, please acknowledge it. Yeah, manners still has a place in this world. Acknowledge. Thank you. That's all you got to do. Thank you. Hold the door for them. Do you realize that doing a nice gesture could actually change the world? You know about the ripple effect, don't you? Throw a stone out in the middle of the water. The little waves hit every part of the surrounding land mass. That's the ripple effect. Something you doing, small, going out big. You hold the door for somebody, they hold the door for the next 3 people. Those 3 people were executives of a major company that has to decide whether or not to support a war. They're in a better mood. They hold the door for 10 more people. You get a wave of goodness going around the globe because you held a goddamn door for somebody. That's the ripple effect. Hold a door for somebody. Do something nice. When you get a call center and you get India, don't go, oh no, not you guys. Don't do that. Get on the American business that insists on using Indian call centers if you don't like them. But let me tell you something. Those people in India, you got PhDs over there working for $3 and $4 an hour. They are some very smart people. Before you get on them, ask yourself how many languages you speak. Okay? That should humble you a little bit. All right? English is not their first language. How many languages do you speak? I speak 1.5. I speak English and pretty good French. They're working hard. So don't do that. If you don't like it and you want those calls to be Americans, get on the company and say, no, not buying your product till you get your call centers back to America. That's how that has to go. And now, live on the air, we have Mrs. Michaela Wotak, but I think I said Mrs. and I should have said Miss because she's unmarried. Miss Wotak, talk to me. Tell me something.
I'm definitely not married.
You know, I love your laugh, and you have a great voice for radio, too. But something's wrong tonight. Do you care to talk about it, or would you like to avoid that topic altogether?
I'm avoiding that.
All right, fair enough. I'm not the kind of guy that will drill on an interview and try to get that good stuff. I want people to talk about what they want to talk about. I might hit them with a curveball question that's going to be unique. I like to do that, but they don't have to answer it. So my guests are always going to be comfortable. My co-host even more comfortable on this show. So let's see what you want to talk about, Miss Michaela. I titled the show, which didn't come up on the thing. I'm working out some technical issues here, but I titled the show General Advice to Humanity. So if we were to stick with that theme, what would you say? Or would you like to change the theme entirely? We can do that. You pick.
I don't know. Anything. Just, I guess it could be on advice.
Advice to people? Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say? All right, like let's start out. You're young. Okay, now you're
Yeah.
very smart, but you are young, and experience gives people wisdom that you cannot shortcut to at your age. So we have to appropriately categorize your view as the younger view. I'm hearing feedback. Do you have the radio show turned up?
No.
Okay, that's cool. Anyway, so let's tell them what your strongest subjects are. What would you say you have the most experience in? Like, what do you do best in school, and what do you do most as a hobby? Let's tell them that.
Modeling is my hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And school. I'm not in school anymore.
Okay, but when you were in school, what were your top subjects?
I was in honors science and honors English.
Well, that's frickin' perfect. I mean, I'm a frickin' English major, so Michaela will not only be a beautiful and lovely co-host who is not a designated giggle chick like most radio shows have, but she will also be able to tell you about science, English, and modeling. That works for me. So you can give general advice. I mean, here, let's do this, Michaela. You're out in public, you're at the Walmart, you see something. You see some person doing a certain behavior. It just pisses you off. What is it? What are you seeing that's pissing you off? Got any idea?
Immaturity.
Immaturity by men usually, or women?
Yeah, just I don't know. I don't get along with girls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like girls. So it's usually girls being stupid or being loud and obnoxious in public.
Okay, so you tend to have more guy friends than women.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, does that make any of your boyfriends jealous?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, I do. I mean, when I was younger, I would have been jealous if I was your boyfriend and you had a lot of guy friends. Here's a couple things about jealousy. One, they did a study on this in psychology and found out that people who grew up with more than 2 siblings were almost guaranteed to be jealous. I guess that makes sense. Competition, I guess. I don't know. Competition for mom and dad's attention. But 2, men, we are animals. Men and women, we are animals. Don't let anybody fool you. We are animals with thumbs and the ability to talk. That's it. Everybody wants to make it sound like we're some evolved beings. We're not evolved shit. We are animals. If you don't think you're an animal, go out and get robbed by somebody. You'll see you're an animal, you know? Have somebody come over and punch your kid in the head. You'll become an instant fucking... Yeah, you'll be an animal. You're an animal. So men have testosterone, and they want to dominate. The obvious drive is to dominate the gene pool. What does that mean? That means we have to screw as many women as possible. Now, these are all desires that we have to control, but that's what's begging to happen inside of us. Screw as many women as possible. Women, on the other hand, are looking for a stable mate. That's in their nature. They're thinking about a lot of things when they look at a potential mate. They're thinking, first, I need him to have the right physique. Second, I need him to be smart if possible. Third, is he stable? Can he provide for me? Those things go through a woman's head when she's looking for a mate. Naturally, and not as a result of society. So I understand, and the whole point of this was I understand men being immature to a point because they're trying to stand out and get that woman's attention. And often that comes across as, you're a goddamn clown, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you explain women's immaturity? What are they trying to cause when they go, just get attention?
I don't know. I don't think anyone will ever figure us out. We don't even know.
You mean women? Figure out women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with 4 sisters and a mother, and I had no brothers, and you would think, by gosh, Kevin's a pretty sharp cat. He grew up with 4 sisters. He ought to know women. Hell no. You can't know a woman. A woman is like a schematic diagram with moving parts. You're never going to pin it down. You're never going to pin it down. It changes faster than you can say it changes. You know?
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not saying that's a weakness or a strength. I'm just saying that's how you are naturally. So with men, we tend to be a little more predictable. We tend to be a little more simple. I will say that men are more emotional than people give us credit for. Breakups and stuff hurt us deeply. We just hide it pretty well because we're taught, men don't cry, don't show your emotions. But we can be very hurt deeply when we're losing someone that we love. So we're not as callous and cold as history makes us out to be. What else?
Yeah.
What else would you see out in public somewhere that would really get under your skin, or what else would you want to tell people for general living advice that you don't think is talked about enough?
When moms put their kids on leashes
Mm-hmm.
in public, that is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
You shouldn't have to put your kid on a leash.
that's right. That's right.
They're not an animal.
Yeah, well, we are animals, I think, but I don't think they need to be on a leash. That's uncivilized. They're not a dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not an animal. They're not a dog. They're not a freaking ferret.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think it's kind of crazy, too. I think it's overprotective in one sense, but it also doesn't allow the kid to make mistakes. And I understand if you're walking near the edge of the Grand Canyon, by golly, use a leash. But anywhere else...
How about carry your kid?
Yeah, there's an option. Who's your
Or
cell
put him
phone?
in the cart.
Who's your cell phone provider, if I may ask?
Verizon.
Verizon? Okay, mine is too. And what's funny is occasionally when I'm talking to you over the phone, I don't talk to Michaela often over the phone. I mean, she calls into the show and co-hosts, and I hope she does it a lot more often. And I hope anybody listening to this right now will pressure her to do it more often. But you hear me, Michaela?
Yeah.
I'm pressuring you. Yeah. Okay. So, but I hear myself echo in your phone once in a while, and people that call me on my phone, they tend to hear echoes of themselves in my phone. So I'm starting to wonder if that's not a Verizon thing, because I'm getting the same type of feedback.
Sometimes.
You hear it too when you talk?
Sometimes. I haven't heard it tonight, but sometimes I do.
Yeah, I don't like that. Verizon needs to fix that. It's some kind of voice delay echo deal going on, and I've done everything I can do from a technical standpoint inside Sam Broadcaster to eliminate echo, because you can set up delays and things like that. And
Yeah, it gets on my nerves. I don't like hearing myself.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, do you like
Yeah.
the way you sound on the radio, though?
Yeah, I guess.
You do? You like your own voice?
Not really. I mean, I get compliments all the time on my voice, but...
That's good. But what's important is that you like it. I don't like my voice, but I'm old enough now not to give a shit. I've never liked my voice, but I get compliments on it all the time. I've got people that listen to my show just because of my voice. And I'm not proud.
Creepy.
I'm not proud. I'm not proud. I'm not thinking I have a great voice. I think my voice rather sucks. It sounds smart ass. It's not as deep as I'd like it to be. I don't like it.
What?
What? I don't like it. I don't like listening to myself. But
You weirdo.
But I love doing this show. It feels like a community engagement. It's a fantasy I've always had, doing a radio show. And it's a good way to get, I don't know, interaction with the public, get some good ideas out there, just like we're doing tonight.
Yeah, it is cool. It's a way you can just, speak your mind without having anyone automatically, be up your butt about it.
Good point. Good point. It is almost a one-way conversation, but as we evolve and the call-ins start really rolling in and the text chat picks up, I think that'll change some. We'll have some
Has it
instant
picked up
interaction.
at all?
Well, it has. It depends on the topic. Like when I talk about the capitals, you start getting a lot of involvement. But when I'm talking about stream of consciousness stuff, nobody's tuning in. But I'm just hoping that I'm building this base of shows up so that people can take me seriously. Oh, he really does have a radio show. Instead of just having 3 or 4 episodes out there and going, what is he, just poking around at this or something? And
Yeah.
now that I have a base of shows built up, 20 or 30 shows, people start saying, okay, I'll tune in and check him out, see what he's about.
Yeah, that is true.
How long can you stay on tonight? What's your sleep schedule looking like?
I don't know. I'm a night owl.
Okay, so you can stay on for a while. What we'll do, I'll need to take a break in about 10 or 15 minutes. So we'll go ahead and talk and keep giving people advice. And what I'll do is put on a couple of Bad Ace songs so we can take a break, and then we'll come back and do some more.
Okay.
In about 10
Sounds
minutes. All right, so we talked about people being immature. We talked about using a leash on children. What else can you think of that isn't mentioned enough in society that people need to hear that's happening, whether it's good or bad? It's easy to draw blanks on this stuff. I'm not putting you on. I'm not putting you on a time limit here. If you can't think of anything right now, I'll try to think of one.
I don't know.
Take your time.
I really don't. I don't know. Well, people drunk driving gets my nerves, but that's pressure in the world now. So
Yeah.
people are always pressuring people.
That's true. And, I tend to give people guilty of drunk driving a bit of a break, and I probably shouldn't, but here's why. When they make that decision to drunk and drive, they're under the influence. Now, they voluntarily got under the influence. That's a problem. But they make that decision under the influence. So I almost think that, damn it, bust them for drunk and driving, but don't punish them for whatever they do during their driving if they hurt someone. And that's wrong, but still, it was voluntarily they got drunk, but they were in a unusual state of mind when they made the decision to drive. So that, hell, if it was a mental problem that made them unusual state of mind before a decision, they wouldn't be held liable for it, but it's not, it's alcohol. So
Yeah.
don't drink and drive, people. It's that simple. Don't, have somebody hide your keys that is not your friend, that you can talk back into getting your keys.
Yeah. I mean, my ex, he drunk and drove all the time. Drunk drove all the time.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, something like that.
He's lucky he never got
He
busted.
would drink and drive all the time. How about that?
Did that bother you? I mean, did you go with him in the car sometimes?
Yeah,
I bet that scared you
because
to
I had
death.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes he just sucked at driving, and he would think he was so good. He was like, "Oh, I'm a good drunk driver." No, you're not. Like, in your mind, because you're drunk, you think you're good, but really you're about to hit that mailbox.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I think in your mind, a lot of people, I used to think it too. I used to think, now I do have what I call the wine bottle theory, which I'll go into a little bit later, but I used to think I was just the shit when I was drinking, and I would drive on occasion, and I did get busted once. I got out of it, luckily, but this was when 1997-ish. But I got out of it because two officers pulled me over, one saying I was okay and one saying I wasn't. And because the two officers disagreed, the judge threw it out. And his son had, in fact, been killed by a drunk driver. So he was pretty dead set against drunk drivers, but he threw my case out because, just like me, regarding law, I believe you cannot have two officers telling you two different stories. That immediately illegitimizes the case. So
Yeah,
that's what Judge Harvell thought, and that's what he said. That hearing lasted 5 seconds. He said, two officers said two different things. My attorney said, yes, sir. And he said, this case is closed. And just bam, there went the hammer. I didn't even have time to sit down. Like, damn. Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I was scared.
Oh, my gosh.
And driving under the influence, that's something I wanted to talk about tonight. Not driving under the influence, but the fact that I would guess 7 out of 10 people now are on some kind of medication. That's a different world than it was in 1950, It's a much
Yeah,
different
people are
world.
using medications heavy now, though.
Yeah, that's right. And I think a lot of that is drug companies pushing them. But some of it is legitimate and they're necessary. And, that makes people different than they used to be. Is this a huge turnaround in culture we're going to have because everyone's medicated?
Yeah.
I think it is.
That's why I don't do that. I like the all-natural way.
Yes, you do. You are very natural. You won't even take painkillers when you're hurt, will you?
Nope.
Well, more power to you. I do. If I'm hurt and there's some kind of medicine that can help me not be hurt, I'm going to take it. As long as it doesn't have potentially bad side effects or, threaten to make me grow breast or something, I'll take it. Because I'm not having man titties. That's not acceptable. Can you imagine hairy man titties on me? Oh, God.
Ew.
That's not working. That's not working for me.
Oh, my gosh. That wouldn't work for anyone.
Howard Stern used to talk about sex a lot on his show, so maybe we should do that. That always gets listeners. How many compliments do you get on your boobs, Michaela?
A lot.
A lot? Is it?
Yeah.
Now, my friends in the Air Force used to say, it's not about the size, it's about the roundness and the perkiness. Is that what you're hearing? Is that what you believe as well?
Yeah.
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 I do too. I think a sagging boob looks like I'm not a boob guy personally. I've never been thrilled by them. You
I
know,
know you're a butt guy.
yeah, I'm definitely a butt guy. But in the past, boobs were, I don't know. I used to think that athletic women tended to have smaller boobs. So that kind
They
of,
do.
yeah, that kind of drew me to women with smaller boobs. Now I just don't care. My girlfriend has, I don't know what you'd call them, bee stings. She's happy with it. I'm okay with it. But I've gone out with girls that had bolongas. I mean, big ass water balloons down there, and it just didn't make a difference to me. You know. So, do you get compliments on your backside too?
Yeah, I do. A lot. Yeah.
What would you say attracts men to you first, second, and third?
My eyes
Mm-hmm.
first.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my butt second.
Mm-hmm.
No, F that. Hold on.
Okay, take your time.
All right, my personality first.
Mm-hmm.
Second my eyes, and then probably my butt.
Okay. What about fourth and fifth then, if we keep going?
My smile
Mm-hmm.
and my outgoing, like how upfront I am about stuff.
Okay. All right. How about 6 and 7 and 8?
Probably my boobs.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you can't be like, oh, I like her because her boobs, like at first, cause it's not like you're looking at them naked,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because
You
you
know-
don't even know what they look like, So, but the butt, you can see that like through the jeans.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So, yeah, then probably the boobs and the way I carry myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you've got all that working for you. It's amazing, and that's why you have the qualities to be a model, I think. And when I see a nice butt, my heart goes pitter patter. I can't help it. That's the animal inside me. I like a butt that's round. I don't like I don't like big, although I'm not against big necessarily. I just like it to be ideally a volleyball cut in half, the two sides crammed together. There it is, or something near that.
Yeah.
That kind of drives me nuts. Legs, I like a good curve to the legs, but it doesn't drive me crazy. With a woman, it's like you said, I like the eyes, because the first thing I think when I'm out in the single world, which isn't going to happen anymore, but the first thing I think is, can I look into these eyes long term? That's the first thing I think, unless I'm going for a one-night score. Can I look in these eyes long term? Second, I look at the lips and the nose. I like a woman that has at least partially full lips and a relatively small nose. Nose is a big deal to me. Did you know that? You have a perfect nose.
I get compliments on my nose.
Yeah, you should. You should. You have a perfect nose. Not too big, not too small, not too pointed, not too tucked in. So it's got a bit of a snobbish look to it, which men like. Kind of like your high class. I like that on a woman, and a lot of guys won't talk about the nose. I mean, if you bring me a picture of a woman with a big honking nose, I can't look at anything else. I just can't. I'm sorry. I know that's superficial. I'll admit it. But the animal inside me insists that you have nice eyes, healthy looking hair to a degree, and nice mouth and nose. And if I'm looking for bonus, I want you to be somewhat trim in shape and have the good butt. And smile. Smile's a big deal, because this is once again something you're looking at all the time if you're going to be long term with this person. So it's important that they don't do things that annoy you or have a terrible smile that looks like they're crying when they smile or something like that.
Yeah. See, when I look at a guy, have you ever wondered what girls think about
I'd
guys?
love to go for it. You got the mic, baby. Go.
Well, the first thing I look for is teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big on teeth. Like, it's horrible. Like, if you have some messed up, like, crooked teeth and stuff, I'm like, no. If you have some nice teeth and pretty eyes, and then I'm all good. And a nice skin tone.
Yeah. What else do you like in
I
a
look
guy?
for.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really care about the butt. I mean, you can't really be too skinny or like anything like that, because you can't have bones. Then I won't feel protected.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
So I like the eyes, the teeth, and the skin tone, and someone who looks like they could protect me if we were getting robbed or something.
Okay. What else helps? What other personality traits would make you say, God, I'm kind of digging this guy?
Humor.
Humor, right? Okay.
Humor is a big one with me. If he can make me laugh, even if I'm like super upset,
Yeah.
that's a bonus. Someone who is down to earth, like humble, and who can just accept me for who I am. That's what I like.
I think that last thing you said is the most important. It's
Yeah.
hard for young people. It's very hard for young people, but when you get to be my age, you realize it. Try to accept the person you're going to be a partner with for exactly who they are right now, not who you think you can mold them into being. You just have to kind of give them a blank check and say, look, I don't know everything about you. We've been going out for a while, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a blank check. I accept everything about you. You don't have to conform to my behavior standards. You may have a couple rules, no cheating, no lying, something like that. That's allowable. But accept that
Yeah.
person for who they are, and then you'll be happy. Because expectations and trying to change people is what's going to bring you disappointment and ultimately a failure in the relationship. So
Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happened with my ex.
Well, was there cheating involved, or was there lack of respect, or what? If you care about talking about it, you don't have to, but what is it that ultimately was the axe that chopped the head off that relationship?
He has a drinking problem.
Mm-hmm.
So his drinking, he was like, I swear, he's an alcoholic, and so did his friends. So he turned into an asshole when he drank, and he would just call me all these names and stuff, and then the next day he would totally forget that he even said any of it and think that everything's fine.
How old was he, or is he?
He's 21.
Yeah.
About to be 22.
Gosh, I remember that age. God, I remember it. I've had some bouts where I could get angry and nasty when I drank. I didn't ever get nasty toward women that were with me, but to guys, I would end up getting in fights and stuff. Half of that was testosterone, but some people's brain is wired in such a way that when you add alcohol, the asshole comes out. And remember, alcohol is a depressant. So people that tend to get crabby when they're tired are going to get real crabby when they drink alcohol.
Oh, yeah, that's how he got. Trust me.
It's worth thinking
Because
about.
he always drank after work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that makes even more sense. So he's going to be crabby, and then he's going to get nasty. Going back to the boobs, did you know Arthur C. Clarke used to do a show called The Human Animal?
No.
All right, he did a show one time. Well, he did several shows like this, but I remember I was watching one. He talks about sex, all of the little factoids involved in it, and it was a very interesting show. He said the reason men are attracted to boobs is because the boobs represent the butt. And I said, what? I couldn't believe I was hearing that. But that's what he said. He said when men see boobs, there is a subconscious acknowledgement that that looks like a butt. And I'm like, is that for real? I guess that's what they came up with when they did the study. I've never seen it like that. I've never looked at cleavage and said, but, I look at them and say, those are boobs. Those are, if they have machine guns in them, like the lady on Austin Powers, they're machine gun jubblies.
Yeah.
That's what those are.
Oh, my gosh, that's so funny.
So you've told me what women see attractive in men. We've talked about what men see attractive in women. And men are very superficial, by the way. We always look for physical first, no matter what they tell you. They're lying if they say, I'm really looking at your personality. But we do look at it later. That's very important. Because, if you're mean or you're a bitch all the time, some guys love that. Most guys hate it. There's a book out there called Why Men Marry Bitches. This guy is not reading that book because I never would do that. I'm looking for a nice lady. And I got it, and I got it in my girlfriend, but not everybody can be that way. Some people really are bitches. But you know what won't work out is a bitch that marries a dick.
Yeah, definitely not. That's not going to happen now.
No. They're going to be at each other's throats. I hear an echo going on. Do you hear that?
No.
Oh, great. Well, I'll tell you what. I might have to reset my thing here. Why don't we play a couple of Bad Ace songs and give you a chance to take a break? But either keep the phone call on, or you can call me again in 10 or 15 minutes. Which would you rather do?
I'll call in 10, 15 because I'm going to charge my phone up.
Oh, that works. That works.
Yeah.
All right, Michaela.
I got my blanket and everything ready.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later, girl.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Miss Michaela Wotak, you guys, helping me co-host here tonight, representing that younger crowd, and she's good at it. She's got great insight into what makes people tick, and you know, I like the fact that she can reveal what the younger people are thinking, because I'm not always good at that. But what we're going to do right now is take a break, and I'm going to give you some Bad Ace. What we'll do is go to Without You and Don't Leave Me Alone. How about it? I'm with it. Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
When I was young and foolish, I thought the world belonged to me. Fast cars and easy women were all that I could see. Drinking booze and smoking till I couldn't get no higher. Every night just looking for someone to light my fire. Well, I got a little older, and my daddy told me, son, if you keep on doing what you're doing, you're gonna wind up on the run. When you got to settle down, boy, gotta learn how to behave, or you're gonna drive your mama straight to another grave. And babe, I'll never leave you. You know my love is true. You see, I can't make it, baby. Without you, oh no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Without you, oh no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Well, I met other women, but I didn't feel the same. Some wanted me forever, some didn't even know my name. Some chewed me up and spit my heart in pieces on the floor. But you took me around the world and kept me coming back for more. And babe, I never leave you. You know my love is true. You see, I can't make it, baby. Without you, oh no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Without you, babe. Girl, I couldn't last a moment without you. We got together, you made my spirit soar. Never these new passing down, baby, but I love you so much more. You fill my days with sunshine when the clouds are pouring rain. Girl, you got me so excited, just got to dance insane. And babe, I'll never leave you. You know my love is true. You see, I can't make it, baby. Without you, oh no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Without you, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. No, no. Yeah, I'm crawling on the floor. Yeah, I'm knocking at the door. But I can't stop no more. Not without you, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a moment without you. No, no.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
I've seen beauty in many places. I've seen discouragement on many faces. Oh, baby, don't you ever look down.
There it is. Yeah, bad ace. Bad ace, don't leave me alone. Before that, Without You. What a group, huh? They have a bright future. They've got a bright present. So check them out at badace.com. You can find them on Facebook as well. Get a idea of where they're playing and when. We're talking tonight about general advice to humanity. I did a show before this, so my voice is incredibly tired. So hopefully Michaela will call back in so I can put some of the talking on her. I'm not a person who talks a lot, to be honest with you. So it's kind of weird. But I like having a younger perspective, you know, Michaela being a beautiful young model. She gets to see the animalistic side of men who make the approach. I like that. And she has a pretty good insight into how and why they behave the way they do. So, you know, I like to kind of peel the layers off of behaviors. I think it's very revealing, and I think it's important for us to know how it works. That's one of my main reasons for getting interested in psychology. I couldn't understand how thoughts worked and behaviors and how they played together. My biggest interest in school was learning. I couldn't understand how learning worked chemically, and which is kind of ironic, isn't it? But that's what I first started studying psychology for. I figured my occupation would be working with lab rats and learning experiments. That's really what I was going in for. And then my interest drifted, and then finally when I got into abnormal psychology, it just kind of tanked for me. I didn't care for it anymore. But I've always loved writing. So I stayed with my English major and stayed with the writing concentration. And that's what I ended up finishing with. But I was double majoring in English and psych, and I did get to learn some of how the mind works. And I find it no less interesting on this day. You know, got to keep on peeling away the layers. What makes people think the way they do? General advice to humanity: be kind, rewind, do all of that. Don't cuss somebody out or make them feel bad because they're from India on your technical support call. They're working hard. Speaking the language, I kind of lean toward the pro view on that. If you're going to come to a country that speaks a major language, please learn that language as a matter of respect to that country, especially when that country is willing to have its own members die to protect your freedom, okay? Yes, your freedom includes the right to speak another language, but would you do the country a favor and respect them enough to make it easier on their citizens when you want to communicate with them? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's a narrow-minded view, but that's just how I feel. What else? What else is bad about behavior? And lying has become a part of everyday society. Politics, lying, just lie, 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 lie. People can lie and not even feel a little singe of guilt from it now. I did a show a few episodes back that taught you how to pick up somebody lying. It's the body language show. I can teach you how to spot a liar just talking to them. Yeah, it's pretty easy actually. And they can't hide it. You can try to develop countermeasures, but something's going to give you away. Lying is mainstream now. It's just part of communication. Well, not here. If I'm going to lie to you, I'm going to say your hair looks great when it doesn't, or no, those pants don't make you look fat if they do. I might lie in that capacity, but that's it. That's where my lying stops. It bothers me that others are so comfortable with it. It does bother me because once you're found to be willing to lie, especially about small stuff, but on big stuff too, you lose a lot of credibility with people. You do. You lose the assignment of honor they may have given you before. Too bad for you. You know, that's kind of what builds your personality. It's what builds your legacy. So, yeah, I'm just not a liar, and I don't dig liars. I think they're sneaky, and they'll do anything to win. This is why Truth on Tap, the radio show, is focused on the truth. I mean, the fucking phone number is 910 no lying, if that gives you any indication. We focus on that, and that's another reason why we look at the fact-finding sites a lot. You know, sites like PolitiFact.com or factcheck.org. we're always looking at those. One, to keep them honest, but that's not our primary reason. Hopefully they're being honest. So two, we're looking for who's been lying, as discovered by those sites. Now, some of those sites have slants. They're leaning left or right. You got to be able to pick that up to get the most accurate information out to your audience. And I disseminate only the most accurate information. So I will research a claim made by PolitiFact.com. PolitiFact bats about about a 800 in my book. Factcheck.org, they've got it pretty solid. They're doing about a 970. So I will call them out when they're screwing up. You got to have, and what I mean by that is when they call somebody a liar, sometimes they'll call them liar, liar, pants on fire. Sometimes they'll say half true. I have a lot of problems when you say half true for someone that is mistaken, but that their statement would have been true if said at another point in time. That happens all the time with PolitiFact. No, it's not half true. It's 100% false because it was not said in that other time. We're not asking you if you had placed this person in another time, match that up with how true it was today. We're asking you how true it was today. If it's 100% false, it's not half true. Strike one against you. And PolitiFact tends to get those strikes from me. We want the accurate truth. I want to know which politicians and advertising agencies and commercials are lying to you. We got to get that out there. You should have available to you a basic absolute stream of truth at all times. You may not want to hear it. It may be something you want to avoid for the most part and live in a rose-colored world. I do. But you should have it available to you. That way you can check in and see how reality is going. I try to get people as close to reality as possible, regardless of how long we decide to spend there, in reality. It's a nice reference point with which to measure how far we are outside of it. I don't live right along the side of reality. I live in my rose-colored world, I tend to be naive on things, believe in the best in people. And I know that's not where reality says we should be. I get that. That's why I do a show on it. I do my show not always objectively, but definitely scientifically regarding reality. I'm looking for absolute truths, as close as we can get to them on social issues and as close as we can get to them on scientific issues. Absolute truths, getting you the reality of it, not what people are saying. And to do that, the very first thing you got to do is start chopping up the lies. Get them off of there. They're clouding the truth. Give somebody a chance to look at the accurate truth. So that's my advice. Don't lie. You're building your character. You're building your legacy. You're representing your honor. If you want to give somebody compliments that you feel deserves them but isn't really earning the compliment in the way you're giving it, go ahead. That's an acceptable lie to me because you're doing a service. Now some people might say, well, Kevin, technically, if you tell someone they're pretty and they're not, then you've given them a false concept. So how can you call yourself a truthmonger? Well, I'm glad you asked. I believe that the importance of helping someone feel good about themselves and have a better day is far more important than me being entirely accurate with them when it comes to something about how they look, something as tangential as that. Let's give people a good day. Let's let them feel good. Now, if it's their behavior that's bothering you, you don't want to say, hey, Dick, you are one of the greatest guys I've ever known. You tend to help everybody, and you've never seen him help anybody? Well, now you're screwing up, because he's going to say, oh, yeah, I did help that guy on the side of the road 3.5 years ago. Yeah, by pulling over and asking him if I could help and then leaving. And he'll believe he's got it. He'll take that compliment and share it with people. Don't tell him that. That's a lie. That's a lie that could mislead and hurt. But if you want to give somebody a compliment about their looks, something that's subjective like that, go for it, man. Help the world feel a little better. And that's another thing. If you're an asshole, I'll jump on assholes. I don't really attack people on this show, but negativity and abuse of authority are people I'll jump on. So if you're a real asshole or you're a cop that abuses his authority, I'm all over you, man. I'm on you like stank. That goes for politicians too. Assholes We don't need help having a bad day. You understand? So if you work for my credit card company and I call in and tell you that I dispute this charge, don't be an asshole. I'm already having a bad day, okay? Be a professional. Do your damn job the right way. Have a little bit of customer service skill. And in general, even if you're in your personal life, be kind. People don't need help having a bad day. Life is hard already. Nobody needs help. Let me promise you something, and this is something I've said in previous broadcasts, but deems necessary the repetition. If you have friends that are negative in general, and by that I don't mean they're going through a bad time, I mean all the time they're talking bad about a person, place, or thing. If you have friends like that, you're going to have to get rid of them. I'm sorry. I mean, you can warn them. Here's what you can do. You can say, friends, next month, about 30 days from now, I'm going to start cutting people out of my daily communication that are negative all the time. Just wanted to give you all a heads up, let you know, so that if you feel that you may be negative all the time, you can at least have a chance to try to not be negative around me. Why would you do that? I guarantee you that you're never going to find true happiness if you're hanging out with negative people, especially on a daily basis, even on a weekly basis. Negative people will spread that negativity like a contagious cancer. It eats at you. People who are always bitching about a person, place, or thing will rub off on you and poison your view. You want to find happiness? The first thing you got to do is kick out negative thoughts and negative people. Get it out. I mean chop it off clean. Get the biggest axe you can find and symbolically and figuratively speaking, chop the head right off of that negative beast. Get them out of your daily circles. Get those thoughts out. Now, I'm not saying that's going to bring instant happiness. Now you got to go do things that make you happy. And you know what those are. Go do the things that make you happy. And if you promise me that you've kept that negativity out and those negative people, I'll guarantee you've found true happiness. And you'll know it too. You recognize true happiness when you see it. And once you see it, you won't go any other direction. Get the negative people out. Get them out. They're going to bring you down. You don't have a chance at real happiness. Now, I'm not talking about, as I said, a friend or a family member. We'll talk more about family members later, but a friend that is going through a bad time and they're negative for a month, 2 months, you give them a shoulder to cry on. You know, that's what friends are for. I'm talking about people who have it baked into their personalities. You know the difference. You know the difference. They're just seething at the mouth with this bubbling negativity all the time. Get away from that poison. My gosh, dump that friend. Dump them. Get out of there. I will. I do it. I don't care. I just can't have negative in my life. My sister and I, Kelly, I have 4 sisters, but my youngest one is the one I'm closest with. We made a pact on my mom's 70th or 72nd birthday. I can't remember. It was about 4 years ago. I went out in the yard with her when she was visiting, and I came up with the idea. I said, let's make a pact. Let's make a pact to get rid of all of our negative thoughts, but more importantly, to get negative people out of our lives and keep them out. We did. And I think she's conformed to it pretty well. I've conformed to it like it's a religion. My next oldest sister, the middle child, also engaged in that pact, but I don't think she succeeded with it. And I'll leave that at that. People that are family, I don't think you necessarily do everything for family. I don't think necessarily that blood is thicker than water. If you're in my family, you have to earn my respect still. Being related to me does not grant you any special permissions with me. Okay? And just like George Carlin said, parents should have to earn their kids' respect. You know? Good point, George. Sorry to see you go. But I have certain people in my family that I don't communicate with. There are reasons for that. Mostly it comes down to negativity. There are other reasons, you know, in general behavior. Don't criticize me. If you think there's a better way for me to be living my life, I don't want to hear it. I'm a big boy now. I've chosen my path. This is how I'm living my life. Don't tell me that you've got a better way. You don't know me. You don't know what's inside. I've been gone for many years, moving around the country. So don't tell me how to live my life. I got that part figured out. If I want your help, I'll come ask for it. Don't lecture me. That's something that people tend to forget, that they're not that person that they're advising, and they do not know the mechanics of their mind and their history all put together with their personality and their thoughts and their religion, all that. So don't tell somebody how to live. You can offer general advice just like we're doing tonight, but I'll tell you right up front, this ain't going to work for everybody. And that's okay. I can't say there's something wrong with you if my advice won't work for you. All I'll say is that you think differently than me. Surprise, surprise, many do. Uh, my advice might only work for a fringe element of people. I don't go out and check. I just give general living advice on shows like this for fun, whatever. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Let's see. We've been broadcasting here for an hour and 17 minutes. Hope Michaela calls back in because we can get into man-woman discussions again, which tend to interest people, I think. That's how Howard Stern got a good leg up on his competition. I'm not going to have people on here having sex and stuff. That's going to have to be a once-in-a-while thing that we do for fun, but that's just not any way to gain respect as a radio show. So if I fail miserably because I refuse to have people having sex on the show, well, I fail, and I die a happy man still. Next month, I'll be wearing an Australian Outback hat if I can afford it. It's time. Yep. Got issued a cane by my doctor this week. I can wear the hat now. I've earned it. The Australian Outback hat doesn't mean I'm Crocodile Dundee. It means that I don't like cowboy hats because I don't like fake cowboys. It does mean that I respect my fellow Australians, and I do love them. I love my people from Australia and people from the UK. Love them to death. They don't always like us. Australians tend to love us, but the UK is kind of hating on us right now. That's something to consider. When we came, a lot of white people here in America came from the UK. Those are your brothers and sisters that are separated only by a couple hundred years. The first Kierstead over here was Dr. Hans Kierstead that came through Germany, but we are traced back to the Norse Raiders, the Vikings. And he owned a large part of the island in Manhattan, believe it or not, sold it for pennies on the dollar. And he was a doctor, and he was the first on my dad's side over here. And then on my mom's side, it is rumored, because they were from the Smith side, even though her last name was Marlowe, from the Smith side, we came from Captain John Smith. There was somebody in my family who claimed that was true, all the way back to John Smith. Well, if it's true, good, great. He sat on the boat. He didn't do much. He sailed. Okay, great. So I come from a family of people that like to go out on the open sea and run wild. All right, I can see that. That's kind of me. That's life. That's who I am. But it doesn't really explain my personality. It just kind of explains when I wear a hat, like an Australian Outback hat, that I'm pretty brave, willing to do about anything. I've been skydiving twice, jumped out at 12,500 feet, opened my parachute at 5,500 feet. Falling 7,000 feet through an open sky is kind of cool. If you've never done it, you gotta do it. I want you to go skydiving. Michaela is on the other end of this phone now. Michaela, have you ever been skydiving?
No, but I want to, yeah.
She wants to go skydiving. What do you want to talk about, Michaela? You want to talk about guy-girl stuff some more?
I don't care. We can continue what you're talking about. I don't care.
Okay. Well, we've talked about what guys look for in women, and we talked about what women look for in guys. I guess we can just keep giving out general advice,
Okay.
on things to do. I think you should go skydiving because it's the ultimate test of courage. And I tell people that I went to a 4-hour school on a Saturday before I went skydiving the first time back in 1994, and there were more women that jumped that day than men. So this is not a testosterone-y thing. It's women do it too. Why
Well,
do you
I
want to go
wanted to do it.
skydiving? Hmm?
What did you say?
Why do you want to go skydiving, if I may ask? Do you know why?
Just something to do. I think it'd be fun.
Would you rather go free fall or tandem?
What's the difference?
Tandem, you have the instructor actually connected to you, behind you. Free fall, they're not touching you. They're just falling beside you.
Yeah, I probably want them with me the first time.
Yeah, most people do. I was one of the few exceptions that wanted to free fall. I don't know why. I just felt like it was more like, what the pros do.
But, like, if our parachute doesn't go, like, are we still okay if we free fall?
Well, you have a reserve chute. I'll tell you
Well, that's
something.
good.
When I was in the 4-hour class that Saturday morning, I took a friend with me, Scott, and I loaned him the money so he could upgrade to free fall. He was going to do static line. You can do static line where you only fall about 40 or 50 feet and your chute automatically opens. That's boring. Going 125 miles an hour through the sky, falling toward the earth, that's exciting. But he said, it was after the class, we'd already done our 4-hour class. He said, I need to ask you a question. The instructor said, okay, go ahead. He said, so we go to open our regular chute, that doesn't work. What happens if our reserve chute also doesn't work? And the instructor said, aim toward the light, and that's what he was saying. If you're going to die if the reserve chute doesn't work. So it kind of hit home.
Oh, my
there.
gosh.
It really hit home. And sometimes that happens. Neither one opens, but it's very rare.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
It's amazing who you find yourself friends with. This is weird that we're even talking about this, because I actually am Facebook friends with someone named Jim Crouch. Jim Crouch runs Skydive West Point here in Virginia. He also is the USPA Safety Director, the United States Parachute Association. He's right there, top on the list. So he knows all about that stuff. So if you want to go skydiving somewhere, you go to Skydive West Point, because you're going to get the maximum guarantee of safety there. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
I went with Skydive Suffolk, and there were psychopaths over there. The second time I jumped, I got shoved out of the plane and did 6 backflips before I got my bearings.
Yeah, that's not good.
Nope. And all because I said, I messed up on my exit routine. Can I do it over again? The owner, Larry, the psychopath, yeah, I'm saying it, Larry, hope you're listening, shoved me out of the plane. You don't fucking shove me out of a plane. I have a problem with that, and I almost hit him when I got on the ground. I was not cool with that. I'm ready to jump out of the plane. I'm going to jump, but don't fucking shove me out. I'm doing backflips. Playing ground is what I'm seeing. I've lost my orientation entirely, have not been trained for this. And what I had to do is say, okay, Kevin, you want to survive, right? Right. What's the rule? First rule, stick your waist out as far as you can go. You want to shape yourself like a badminton birdie. So I had to close my eyes to figure out how to stick my waist out, because I didn't know which way was up or down. So I had to close my eyes, really push my waist out as if I were standing still. And then when I opened them again, I was falling the correct way. And they finally zoomed down beside me, because instructors will stay away from you when you're flailing. They don't want to get hit unless they have to come pull your ripcord, So I didn't like that at all. And I went back a third time, got in the chute, got the instruction, got in the plane, found out that Larry was going to be one of my instructors, and asked him to land the plane. True story. I never went back after that. But I would skydive at Skydive West Point, definitely.
That'd be cool. I want to do that.
Do you have like, people don't ever talk about like sexual fantasies, but let's say, doesn't it sound kind of sexy to be strapped behind somebody and falling through the air at 125 miles an hour? A guy behind a girl. Do you think they could do something in the 2 minutes they're falling?
Probably not.
I wonder if anybody's ever done
unless you're my ex.
Oh my gosh. It's kind of exciting, because you have this, oh my God, we're falling feeling, and sex. What about that?
That would be crazy.
Yeah. There's a certain sexual attraction, I think, among humanity for things that are unstable. Like if you were with the mate of your choice, laying halfway over the edge of a tall building, that kind of thing. Ooh, it's
Well, that'd be
scary.
crazy.
It's scary and unstable, but it's sexy. It's even sexier now because it's got my adrenaline into it, you know? Don't you think so? Don't you think that adds to
Yeah,
the
that would be
experience?
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like
Well,
people like in like fitting rooms and stuff, they just like the risk of getting caught and stuff.
that's right. Uh, that's one of the things I think that adds to the experience. We'll come back like humor. I always say humor always returns to conversations about farting and poop. You know,
Oh my gosh.
that's the baseline of it when you can't think of more jokes. And conversations among adults will always return to sex because it's the most popular topic, you know. So I'll do it routinely, and I'll be honest with you, I'm older now. I'm not really thinking about it much, to be honest with you, and I'm so glad for that. I think I'm losing testosterone. I think that's a natural thing, and I'm so glad because back then, way back then, I couldn't think very well. I was always thinking about women, you know, and I'm not now. I'm able to finally calm down and reason with people and not always be thinking about, ooh, I gotta find somebody. Ooh, I gotta find somebody, you know.
That's what I'm saying. I think my ex was a little gay.
Mm. Mm. What makes you say that? Now, I didn't know about this.
Well, my mom thinks he was a little gay too. I mean, a couple of my friends did too.
Damn, Michaela's
I mean,
path.
what kind of 21-year-old doesn't want to have sex all the time?
Whoa, Michaela's path just took a fork in the road, folks. We're talking about her former boyfriend that may have been half gay. So he didn't want to do it often?
No.
Jeez. With a model, y'all. Listen to what I'm
I know,
saying.
that's what I'm saying.
Beautiful model, young lady, great voice. He don't want none sometimes. What's wrong with him? Maybe he had beer dick. Is that possible? You said he drank a
No.
lot. No?
No,
What was it?
No, definitely not that.
What was it? Can you put your finger on it? Did he act gay in any other way?
I mean, he does kind of come off like he's kind of feminine. Like he's really metrosexual. He's really about he's really snotty, like stuck up, like always about his looks and appearance, and he always cares about like what other people think about like his choices and stuff.
I hear you. Okay. That may just be an indication that he's gay or at least bi and doesn't know it yet. I think that's possible at that young age.
I think it is too. My mom thinks it.
I used to be pretty anti-gay, but you have to remember I grew up with that. You know, everybody was called fags. You were seen as weak if you were a male gay. Female gays were never harped upon much. We thought it was kind of cute, you know. I don't know why that is, where it's a double standard. But so now I'm coming on board with the equality thing. I get it. But I was in the Air Force at the time. I wrote a letter to Bill Clinton and said, this don't ask, don't tell policy is not a good idea. I don't want gays sitting in the what we call the flight, which was our dormitory, in basic training, being able to look at my ass in the shower and sexually favor it. I didn't like that idea.
God.
You know, it didn't sound good to me. And now
a lot of guys are gay in the military.
That's right. That's right. But now I say the same thing. If I'm going in basic training, I don't want guys to be looking at me like a sex object. But hey, let's let them in. The only thing is, if you're going to do that, you got to let men and women shower together in basic. Why not? Because now, if you have one sex looking at someone as a sexual object or having that ability to do that, you got to give both sexes that ability and both preferences that ability. So let everybody shower together.
Oh gosh.
Why not? Now that would lead to some problems.
I don't want to imagine that.
But it's fair. I mean, it's fair from a logic standpoint.
Yeah.
You ever thought about the military, Michaela?
Yeah, I have. I thought about joining.
What branch would you consider joining?
Navy or the Air Force.
And do you know what you'd want to do if you got into one of those?
Nursing.
Nursing, okay. And that's what you're going for anyway, right? In the private sector?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know...
I want to be an RN.
Well, do you know what some of the dirty jobs are that nurses have to do? And can you handle that?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
My mom used to be a nurse.
Okay, so you've seen it all then.
Yeah, I mean, I've changed my grandpa's like diapers and given him shots and stuff. Anyway.
Okay, you've seen it all then, definitely. It
Yeah,
takes a special person. How are you when you see blood?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do it. When they, some people are weak in different areas. They can take my blood all day. I've always given blood. And in fact, there's a picture in the yearbook of me giving blood. I gave blood so much. But I'll give blood and I just have to look away. That's all. I just can't look at it. If I look at it, I'll start getting ready to pass out.
Really?
Yeah, I can't handle it. We were down at the beach was it last summer? I think it was last summer or 2 summers ago. I can't remember. Whitley, Mallory's cousin, my stepdaughter to be, Mallory's cousin, was out on the rocks with Mallory. She got a cut on her foot. Now I had to go pick her up and put her on my back. As soon as I picked her up and put her on my back, turned around, I cut my foot open. Didn't know it. Thought I just stepped on a sharp rock. So we come into the beach. I'm sitting there thinking, Whitley, poor girl, let's try to get a towel or something around that. And Mallory says, oh no, Kevin, you're bleeding too. And I look at the bottom of my foot and we got a gusher and I'm going, oh no. Whitley says, Kevin, I don't feel so good. I said, well, Whitley, go ahead and sit down. If you're feeling dizzy, I understand. You might feel a little bit sick. And I was feeling that way, but I didn't want to let that on to her. So I said, sit down like this. And I'm sitting there acting like I'm fine. And I'm about to pass out my damn self. Got these little sweat beads popping up on my head, starting to feel cold on a hot summer day. Yeah, I was getting ready to go. Too much blood.
Ugh.
More power
That
to
does
you.
sound messy.
What else do you have to do as a nurse that you would hate doing but do anyway?
It would probably bother me, like, cleaning up, like, the old guys and women,
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know.
I was reading about, I don't know how, sometimes you don't know how you get on an internet site because you start doing that stream of consciousness thing on clicks. I somehow ended up in this nurses forum talking about how to protect yourself from bad smells. And everybody was saying, a little bit of Vicks Vapor Rub on the nose, this and that. They had their various tricks. And they asked somebody, what's the worst smell you smell as a nurse? And the overwhelming answer that came back was, and I don't really understand this, but it was bowel or rectal bleeding. So I didn't know that there was a smell produced by blood, really. But according to them, I guess it's like, and again, they didn't say this. I'm just having to guess because they just kept saying bowel bleeding or rectal bleeding, that kind of thing. So I'm guessing it's just shit and blood smell mixed. It would get them the worst. And
yeah, that would be horrible.
That's amazing when you think about, say, treating a wound where there's a bunch of pus or something like that smells, or decaying flesh. And if that's worse than that, God bless them. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how.
Yeah, like cysts are, those stink because I've had to deal with cysts for my family. My mom had one horribly one time, and she made me, get it for, Oh my gosh.
She made you pop it?
Smell. Yes.
Well,
It was horrible.
Well, those are dead white blood cells, and they can be in there for years if you don't do anything about them.
Yeah, it was in there for a while. Ew. Oh my gosh. I had to put like a scarf around my face.
Well, I saw a video on YouTube where they lanced a cyst on a guy. They did it at his house. I'll never watch one again. I can't handle that.
I think I saw that one. It was going like everywhere. Was it in the yard?
No, he was sitting inside on this one, but they have several like that. So.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of them. Like one looked like a freaking ice cream machine coming out. Like it was disgusting.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like when they did this old guy that was sitting inside his house. And I watched it out of. I watched it out of this curiosity. What would you call morbid curiosity? But I'll never watch another one. I'm done with that.
See, I think it's cool.
You like that, huh? What is it about women that makes them want to pop the zits on their guy's back?
I don't know. I like doing it. I just.
Man.
I don't know. I think it's cool.
I get blackheads so bad. I need somebody to just go all over my back and get them off. And I scrub. I got a scrub brush and everything. It doesn't help. I have oily skin naturally, so I get blackheads, and I'm terribly self-conscious about it. But again, being older, I just don't care as much anymore. Let it go. But I have a family history of blackheads, and I think that comes from the Indian in my family. Indians tend to have worse skin, and it scars easier. And I don't know. I don't know for sure. But I think it's cool that women do that. It's like, here's something I thought would gross a woman out, and yet they want to pop them, and they think it's fun, and they're helping you by basically what the wild animal kingdom calls grooming. They're doing these little cosmetic changes for you. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's attractive that women like doing that, you know?
Yeah, I used to, I had this guy I was dating. I used to pluck his eyebrows and stuff, and he loved it.
Wow, that is awesome. That's what they say in the animal kingdom, that the person working on you is showing you respect. Now, I don't know if that translates over into humanity because we take a big jump up in our behavior, but maybe it does. Maybe it's a saying, hey, I respect you. But I think people that pop the zits on their guy's back, I think, like you said, it's fun for them. I think a zit looks out of place. It looks like something's wrong. It's got to be popped. I think that's almost a type A personality thing for most people. They see it and they have to pop it. They want to. It doesn't look right, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I hate, like, every month, you know, before that time of the month, my face always breaks out. Oh, my gosh, I hate it. It just irks my nerves. The other day, I went and bought, like, 4 different face washes.
Oh, my gosh. Now, is that a hormone thing that causes that? You're going to be better educated in health than I am.
Yeah, it is. And stress levels and stuff can cause it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not horrible, but, like, my face and, like, skin is usually clear.
Mm-hmm.
So it irks my nerves just when I get, like, a couple.
Yeah. Well, that supposedly gets better with age, too. I mean, you're younger, and they're going to show up. But you women are great at covering them, too. So, you know.
That is true.
Plus the
I don't really
product.
like wearing makeup.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You don't need it, but the products they make now are so good at covering it up. I think they're, you know, people can. Do you believe in that? What's the one they always talk about on TV that helps clear acne?
Oh, Proactive?
Yeah. Do you think that stuff works?
No, I've tried it.
You've tried it and it doesn't work? It's a scam?
Yeah, it's a scam.
Oh, well, that's part of what we need to tell on this show. So you heard it here first. Michaela telling y'all, don't get Proactive. It's a damn scam. Now, if your problem is cleanliness, then maybe Proactive works, but it won't work any better than any other astringent, which cleans out pores, is what I guess you're saying. You know?
I think the cheaper stuff really works better. Proactive didn't really work for me. I use, I think it's called Clear Cell or something like that, and it works really good.
Yeah.
But maybe it depends on your skin.
Well, what are you using right now?
Clear Cell and apricot scrub.
Okay, yeah. My ex-girlfriend used to live by that, and I used it a few times. I thought it was neat to have that sand feeling because you knew you were getting scrubbed clean, you know.
Yeah, it does feel cool.
Mm-hmm. And afterwards, your skin is really soft. I'm not a metrosexual. I like to keep. I'm not. I used to be. I used to be really concerned about that. I always wanted to look good and be suave, but now I'm more of a wild man. But I always believed in keeping things tidy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Keeping certain areas shaved at all times. And,
yeah.
on a man's anatomy, there's a funny thing, and I'm going into some comedy here, but it's actual reality. There was a comedian talking about how his penis looked young, but his balls looked old. And it's kind of true. I mean, it happens to men, you know, you get the wrinkly old balls and the penis stays smooth.
Yeah.
It's very deceptive. You going, am I looking at two guys here? Well, what's going on? Why are my balls aging? But that's just how it is. And, you know, that's the way it goes.
That is true. I used to make fun of my ex because he had really saggy balls.
Oh, Lordy. What did you say to him? Did you say those things look like speed bags?
Just like, I mean, they were just, like, sagging. Like What in the world?
Oh my God, sagging balls.
I always made fun of him for when he gets like really old. Oh my gosh, they'll be like down to his feet.
Oh my God, yeah, I can picture that. But watch out, because when women get old, their titties go down to their feet too.
No, mine won't. I don't have that big of tits. I'm good on that. I won't have back problems or anything.
Well, that's good. Yeah, Michaela's quite the naturalist, doesn't believe in medication very much. Do you believe that medication is necessary for people with psychological conditions?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I think a lot of it
Or
is...
if you're seriously in pain, then that's okay. But people who, like, abuse it, I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You've seen that before. You've lived with that, haven't you? Without mentioning any names.
Yeah.
I can't blame you, you know, and I'll go ahead and say something equally as secretive. I grew up in a family of alcoholics, at least the parental units, and it forever shaped my view on alcohol. You know, I went ahead as a normal teenager and experimented with it, drank some, got into my 20s, drank some. I'll still drink some. Going to like Capitals games, guaranteed to drink. But other than that, I just really don't drink. I haven't drank in 3 years since I started going out with Tanya, only because she doesn't drink. She doesn't care if I drink, but she doesn't drink, so I don't drink. You know, whatever. But when I go to a Capitals game, there is something, and there's something to be said for drunk sex too. Let's give that some credit. Because drunk sex is animalistic. It turns something that feels good into something that is almost spiritual. It's so good, you know. I think you got to do that once in a while. But when I go to a Capitals game, I want to amplify my emotions as much as I can and really feel it intensely. I'll drink some beer. I'm going to drink some beer, especially if I'm with a friend, you know. Last time I went to a hockey game and didn't drink was a Admirals game last year, Norfolk Admirals, during their long win streak that some of y'all may remember. And I didn't drink, and I felt like I was in a foreign country. You know, it was strange, very strange. Not drinking at a hockey game, there's something wrong with that.
That's like a guy going to a football game and not tailgating.
That's right. What is your drink of choice when you drink?
I like vodka because it doesn't have, you know, the calories like beer.
Okay, fair enough. You're being honest. I love it.
But I like to have some beer once in a while. But liquor doesn't make me a happy drunk if I'm around certain people.
Okay.
Beer always gives me a happy buzz, but wine is my drink.
Ah, yes. I actually like wine too. I like the way it makes me feel above other forms of alcohol.
It kind of puts me to sleep too. It relaxes me a lot.
Yeah, wine has the capacity to do that. It doesn't do that to me. It just gives me a good, peaceful kind of a buzz. But one thing I have to stay away from is tequila, because once I drink tequila, I turn into Romeo. I mean, absolute romance pouring out of me. I don't know why. Doesn't make sense, but that's what it does. So I have to avoid that. Yeah, whenever I go to a bar, which is never now, but I used to always order 2 shots, a double shot of tequila to get started, try to get that fast buzz, and then maintain it with beer. I would do that. I've never liked beer, but it's what everybody else drank, so it's what I drank, you know. What are some of your favorite drinks of all that taste the best to you?
My favorite liquor would be probably Ciroc vodka. My favorite wine would be, man, that's a hard one. There's a lot of good wine.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't even have a favorite.
Me either, but I like red wine.
Okay.
But not like bitter. You know, I don't like dry wine.
Yeah, me neither. I don't like champagne for that reason. It immediately dries my mouth out.
Yeah, I do not like that. I do not know how people drink that. Like, I'm not trying to have cotton mouth.
That's right. That's right.
You know? So I don't know what's my favorite wine. I I like them all, really. Moscatos and stuff, those are good.
Isn't Michaela a Russian name?
It's, hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
I don't think it's Russian.
What is it? What is it? Do you think? What country does it hail from?
I have no idea. I know my last name is Polish.
Polish. Okay. Where do your ancestors come from? Do you know? I mean, other than Poland, is there other countries?
Germany. I think I have Germany. Yeah.
Okay.
And I got French. All right. I got French.
Mm-hmm.
I got Brazilian, Indian, Polish, and German.
Damn. Well, all us white people are pretty much mutts. I mean, I've got Norway, I've got England, I've got Germany, which really came from Norway because the Vikings settled in Germany. So one of the Kiersteads from there. So really that was just Norway and England from my mom's side. But then when we came here, apparently we got some Indian in us. My grandmother on my dad's side, her father, I think, was full-bred Cherokee. So, it made me like an eighth Indian. So, yeah, we're just mutts. I mean, we got all kinds of breeds going on in us. It's okay with me.
Yeah. My mom said that what I most am is Brazilian and German.
Okay. Yeah, I could see, actually, I could see some of that Brazilian in you. You have a darker skin complexion, which is what people probably want to kill for. That's why women go and tan. It seems to me you have a couple of shades darker than, say a fair skinned woman. Is that accurate? Or do you just have a tan right now?
Now, I haven't been out in the sun. You should see me during the winter. I look the same. You have seen me during the winter.
Yeah. Well, it's usually dark when we go ghost hunting, so I can't see you at all. It's sort of weird. But, I see you a little bit, maybe when someone's flashlight is on. But, you seem to have that natural lean toward an olive color, more of a nice, rich, deep, but not too dark tan. It doesn't. You still look like a white lady, in other words, but you have that nice, healthy glow. And Brazilian women tend to have that,
I do have olive skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my mom tells me all the time.
I
get it from her side of the family.
Have you ever thought about how unlikely it was for you to ever exist? If you looked through the history of time and realized that it had to be that night with those parents, that egg, that sperm doing that thing, and how many eggs a woman has, and how unlikely it was that happened. Then you go all the way through your family history and realize how many times somebody could have died before they had a chance to mate, and that would have been no you. Isn't that strange?
That is crazy.
Now,
oh my gosh, but trust me, I know how I got here. Trust me, if you get a glass of wine and my mom, she'll tell stories about it.
How's she been doing lately?
She's doing okay.
One of the things I was going to ask you is, if I can remember now, what were we talking about? The likelihood of being born. Oh yeah. Do you believe, now, would you say that you're basically a Christian?
I don't believe in setting myself in a religion. I don't believe that, I believe that there's only one God and that nobody should categorize religion and, what God, because God says not to judge.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we judging other religions?
Right. I think that's a good message. I think that's a healthy view too. It's okay to believe in a God. I'm agnostic. I don't know what to believe, but that doesn't make me feel undecided. It makes me just feel open about it. And that's my final view. Now, it could change, who knows? And any one of those religions out there, in my view, could be the correct one. But until I see evidence of one being more correct than another, I can't adhere to one while ruling out another. So that's
See, well,
just,
that's how I feel.
yeah. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you believe in past lives as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask you because I was talking about the unlikelihood of being born when you look through the chain of events that had to happen to bring you here at this time. There are so many trillions of things that could have gone wrong and gone differently that would not have equated to your DNA showing up in this form. And when you really think about it, it's mind-blowing. But do you believe that that is done at a spiritual level? Your soul is selected to be born?
Yeah, I do. I honestly, I think that who I am is someone from the past who has unfinished business. So somehow I'm, you know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
someone else from the past, but I'm me, and I'm doing what they needed to do. And whatever I don't finish, someone else carries on.
Okay, I hear you. I have a friend, a very good friend. I would say she's probably my best friend, only because of what we've been through together. And guess what? We've never met. Never met in person. Her name's Joe, and Joe Mayo. She gave me permission to use her last name. And we met on Facebook while playing a game called Kingdoms of Camelot. I was the, whatever you want to call it, emperor of my country, and people would come into my clan. And I made her like, I don't know, a vice president type thing. And because I watched the way she treated people, the way someone plays a game can be incredibly revealing. And I watched the way she treated people, new members and stuff, and I was like, you're in, you're great. So she lives out there in Nevada, and we've gone through a lot of troubles together by talking back and forth, and had a lot of interactions together just online. But she's a great friend, and she said, Kevin, I believe that we both have lived previous lives, possibly several. I think she actually believes it's been several. She believes that we were supposed to meet, even if only online, that's fine. And that there is some calling waiting to happen, and that we're both either going to go into very strong leadership positions in a terrible tragedy or something, or that we came from those positions, because she feels like we're connected in that way. I feel that we're connected in a form of maybe we were together in a past life. I don't know if I believe in that stuff, but I certainly don't rule it out. I feel like sometimes
See, I
when
was
you
about
meet
to say
someone,
something about that.
well, go ahead, because sometimes when you meet someone, you really do feel like you already know them. Why is that?
Okay, well, I was thinking, what if, you know how everyone says that there's a soulmate or somebody for somebody in, every life? Well, what if someone, was married in a past life and both their souls get carried on to different people, to two different people, and that's who we end up with?
Well, good question. So you think somebody who's a soulmate may have been alive and married to you in another life?
Yeah.
Well, what that requires is selective retention, though. And that's a scary thought, because that means you're coming into this life with your emotions, who you love, what kind of person you love, but not with knowledge from a past life. I mean, that some might say, well, it's in your brain already, but you can't tap into it. It's very strange. What if, let's just assume for a second that previous lives are real. It happens all the time. What's the point? Why would souls be reincarnated? What do you think? Is it a school?
I don't know.
What's the point of it?
Maybe.
Why do we come together with people if it's all planned? What are they trying to do to us? What is some powerful force trying to teach us? I don't know.
I don't know, just lessons, I guess. I guess what we have to learn, I think that somebody needs somebody for a reason. I think everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I just think that everyone meets for certain types of reasons. Some for heartbreak and to learn, some for just a good friendship, some to get stabbed in the back,
Yeah.
And you just learn from it and you carry on. And I think that everyone who's, human should feel all those feelings, no matter what.
Yeah, you're right. I tend to not believe in predestiny, but I have no problem with at least pondering the thought that maybe we're in a school type situation. There's a big part of me that hopes that's right. I hope there's something after this life. But I don't. I believe things are pretty much chaos and that life can emerge from chaos. A lot of people do not believe that. They say intelligent design is the only way. But I don't know, I really don't. I mean, what you're forced to wonder is, let's say this is a school that, Mrs. Wintermute thinks she's been born 60-something times or 600
Yeah, I
something
remember
times.
that.
Yeah, she said that.
Yeah.
What in the hell could she be training for that requires 600 lives worth of information?
That is true.
It kind of
That's
baffles
a
me.
lot.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
I don't know what to think about that. I'm not ruling it out, but I can't adhere to it without some better evidence, like some stuff that you could prove, by recalling.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, there are people that have recalled things from history and said, I lived a previous life, this, and that happened, and people have gone and proven it through research. So there may be something to that, but what I tend to believe is that if there's nothing to that, and in fact there is no previous life, will we ever find out? I don't know. But if that's the case, there may be what Dr. Deepak Chopra and others tend to call a sea of consciousness. Just a huge energy field out there where all people's thinking goes into, like an ocean. And if that's the case, then there's a huge body of knowledge out there.
That'd be crazy.
What do you think it's like after death?
I'm dark.
It just goes dark?
I don't know. Yeah, because my eyes will be closed.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
I don't know. Hopefully good. Hopefully when I die, I'll be dreaming about, something good and not a nightmare.
Yeah, I hear you. There's a part of me that wishes. I don't know why, but you tell me. Is it fair to say, I hope I just go to sleep and don't wake up because I've had enough? Aren't some
What,
people,
right now?
No. I mean, some people will think that near their death. Look, I've had enough. I don't want to interact with anybody else.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that.
And what if it's impossible to die? Your soul does go on, and you can't kill it. Sounds exhausting to me.
Yeah, but it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, true. Everlasting life. I mean, here's what I said in one of my books. I said, death is worth fearing if for no other reason than it might not be very interesting. And I think that's a good point. Just going to sleep is the death of fun and the death of growth. So
Yeah.
we're getting ready to call it a show, Michaela. I'm coming up on one of my limits here at the 2-hour mark. So
Okay.
I'm going to throw a couple of Bad Ace songs on, but I wanted to find out from you first if you had any closing thoughts on what to tell people about living life that might improve their quality of life, or things that are bothering you that you'd like to see change in people's behavior. Anything like that?
Not really. No, I don't think so.
All right, I'm going to make you promise on the air. You promise to co-host with me more often.
I promise.
All right, I'm going to hold you to it, girlfriend.
Okay.
Okay, you guys have been listening to Kevin Kierstead and Michaela Wotak on Truth on Tap, and I'm getting ready to close out with Bad Ace in Your Life and Bad Ace Reality Check. So we'll talk to you later, Miss Michaela. Thank you for coming on again.
Okay. No problem.
And for the rest of you, here we go with Bad Ace in Your Life.
Never had a feeling this quick as this before. Although I've loved plenty, none was loved anymore. I've got you dancing in my mind every minute of every day. But I just feel so well out, I find the words to say. But I want you, now always in my heart. remember thinking maybe this is paradise. I never did not hold you in all my living days, but I just feel so right, baby, if I was to say that I want you, you're always in my arms, that I need you, baby, offer you the stars. Well, I know that soon the time will come that I will be the only one. Oh, I know that soon the time will come that I will be the only one in your life. Never had a feeling as quick as this before. Although I've loved plenty, none was loved anymore. You say you want attention, mama, I got plenty to pay, but I just feel so well, baby, if I knew what to say. That I want you, you're always in my arms, that I need you, baby, protect you, man, home. Oh, I know that soon the time will come that I will be the only one. Oh, I know that soon the time will come that I will be the only one. That I will be the only one in your life. When I first saw you, I was just 16. Then you became my high school dream. I didn't tell anyone my feelings for you. I kept them balled up inside. I didn't realize, no, you felt it too. My friend told me you were interested, and my heart dropped to the floor, because you didn't know just how I felt. I kept it hidden so well. You didn't realize, no, no, I felt it too. I didn't know that I could feel this way, even on such a rainy day. I didn't know a feeling of this kind feels so good inside. Feeling this way. I went to see you, but you weren't at home. But you called later on, sitting lonely by the telephone. We talked a little while, yeah, and I made you laugh. And then on the next day, I walked you to class. We didn't realize, no, 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 we felt this way. My high school dream had feeling this way. Ran across your picture, baby, just the other day. Imagine conversation, you knew just what to say. Held you in my arms and never let you go. And I realized I love you evermore. I didn't realize, I didn't realize, I didn't realize I felt so strong for you. So good inside, feeling this way.